What's good everyone, Enrique here with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Octatrack and my favorite feature or hack or whatever you want to call it about this thing, which is also another reason why it's my biggest staple when it comes to me playing live. So let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, so let's just jump right in. Basically, the routing on this is gonna seem a little complicated at first. I promise you, once you understand it and kind of just, connect the dots, it'll all make sense. This is what I use in my live setup. Like I said earlier, it's one of my secret weapons, I guess you can say, if you want to call it that. I don't use it with this Behringer reverb. Not that it's a bad reverb, but there's a bunch of cool ways to use this setup. So just imagine this being anything like a Chaos pad or another crazy effects box or a rack unit or another sampler, for example, and you want to do some weird looping stuff. So it doesn't have to be a guitar pedal. It could be whatever the hell you want it to be. So with that being said, let's get the MIDI out of the way. I'm just going MIDI out of the Octatrack into the Volca FM just so I can play some notes on here and not use this awful sequencer. And then that's it for MIDI. Audio wise, we're going out of the Volca FM into input A, right? And after that, we have the output of our effects unit, in this case this reverb pedal, into input C. So what's going into this if both of these things are coming into this? That's for us to decide, right? So the Q output of the Octatrack is going into the input of the effects unit. And the Octatrack itself has one of my favorite features, which is probably why I use this thing more as a mixer than I do a sampler. And this feature is found in the personalize menu. So if I hit function and project and I go over down to system and then to personalize, in here you'll find this setting called Q mutes track, and you're going to want that turned on with a little X in there. So what this means is exactly what it says. When I cue a track, it's going to mute it from the master. This is awesome because I can then take advantage of the Q output as an Alt-3-4 send. This function itself reminds me of the old VLZ3s, and actually it's on the VLZ4 Mackie mixers as well. When you mute the track on there, it'll send it out of an alternate output, which lets you send it wherever you want, and then possibly back into the mixer or to your monitor mix or whatever. So in this case, input A is on track 3, and I cue it, it's muted from the master and being out of the queue into the reverb, back into input C, which is not queued and not muted, so we'll still hear it. So check this out. I'm going to set this up. Basically, let's see, track 3, I'm going to set it to be a through track. Track 4, set it to a through track. Go back to what we're listening to. So track 3, I'm going to listen to input A. Track 4, input C. So right now, of course, you wouldn't be able to hear anything because we don't have the track turned on. You can see it has a little stop sign. If I hold down the track and hit play, it's now opening up that through track, letting us play, or engaging the through track. Let's find a better preset. That's kind of cool, right? So if I cue this track, we'll no longer hear it. Oh no, why not? You can see that input A and input C, though, have some audio coming in, and track 4, which is input C, is not being heard because it's also not enabled. So holding down track 4 and pressing play, we'll now be able to hear it. But you can hear that it's a lot quieter. So what I like to do is I go over to my amp, or I go into the playback section and turn the volume all the way up for input C. What I think this does is basically lets the volume of whatever it's coming in at the input be as loud as how it's being received. So this kind of helps. But sometimes I go back and test. See, it's still a little quiet. So I'll go here and turn the level up. There's a little bit of a gain staging thing you got to deal with, but once you have it set and once you save it into your project or folder, you're good to go for whenever you go to play out live. Mine's set the way it is on all the other patterns and the other banks, but I just want to show you guys how to do it from scratch, basically. So now let's see this. You can still hear it's a little louder. Let's see what else we can do. We can go and turn up the volume a little bit. Oh my god, that is going to blow my ear out. I didn't even cue it. There we go. That's awesome. Cool. So I'm going to go to... Actually, you know what? Let me give myself a little kick drum before I do this, just to kind of put this into practice. Da, 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 da. Come on, come on, come on. Kick. Bam, 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 bam. Coming in a little hot. Cool. So I'm going to go to MIDI. This should be it. Oh, set my channel. 2. Oh man, that is so... Okay, you know what? That's way too cheesy. Let me just try and figure something out. Okay, that'll work, but it needs to be 32 bars. So let's stop this. Let it go once. What did I play? Okay. Cool. Simple pattern, playing the FM. Now if I cue this, it's now being sent to the effects. And then if I uncue it, the effects is still heard as the tail end of it. Again, remember, imagine this being something crazy or something completely different. The cool thing here is, let's give myself another little thing I can play with. Yeah, that'll be good. This will come in. I can send multiple sources to that at once, so I can also cue that. So now it's just track 2, or track 2, 3, or all the tracks. Sounds insane, but it's doable. Right? So this is like basically, imagine this doing whatever you want it to do. It's a quick and easy hack or trick, whatever it's called, of using the Octatrack as an effects send and return. It's one of my favorite features about the Octatrack. In a live situation, this thing's awesome, especially if you were to sample this using another track live, perfectly quantized, then change up the patch and do a bunch of other crazy stuff. It's nuts. But yeah, if you guys like this video, really appreciate the thumbs up. If you guys didn't like this video and I can make it better for you guys in some sort of way, give me a thumbs down and let me know about it down in the comments below. You guys can always follow me on my Instagram, where I post a lot of other videos like this in my other studio with a bunch of other gear, and there may be a piece of gear in there that you want to see a video on. So hit me up on my Instagram and let me know about it. But without further ado, you guys know the drill, and that's to share the love, share the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Peace. Back to this cheesy track.